Hello guys, if you are an engineering student put on a Formula SAE project as your senior design project, or maybe on an engineering club project, you might have run into a lot of trouble figuring out how to even start on such a complex design. You may have the theory down from classes like physics, dynamics, and coding classes, but you really don't know how to even begin working on a practical project. So I'll be breaking down suspension design into 5 steps that you can follow to design a working suspension system. So the first step is figuring out what your design limitations are. There are 2 categories of limitations. There are limitations from design requirements, such as the desired wheelbase, ride height, center of mass, and track width. And then there are also limitations from other subsystems of the vehicle. So for example, the suspension has to accommodate calipers and rotors for braking. It needs to have space for steering in the front and the drivetrain in the back. And all these limitations give the designer a good starting point to narrow down the range of possible designs. The second step is to analyze the wheel scrub. This is a relatively simple geometric analysis. First, you have to sketch a cross-section of the wheel assembly, then draw a line through the center of the tire. Draw a second line, referred to as the steering axis, through the upright attachment points and extend it to the ground plane. The distance between these lines at the ground plane is the scrub radius. Next, sketch the front view geometry of the system in a CAD program. You will need to make some simplifications to sketch in 2D. You should start by sketching your nodes first and filling in the rest afterwards. You can see in the example sketch there, it gets very messy, so make sure to carefully check all your definitions. The roll center is easy to mess up on, so especially watch your definitions on the roll center and make sure it's behaving like it would in the real world. After you have your CAD sketch, you will want to do a similar analysis in MATLAB. Using the equations of kinematics, write a program that solves the geometry of your system as it moves. Then plot the camber and wheel scrub values like in the graphs you see here. You can check your numbers against the numbers that you got in the CAD sketch to make sure you did it correctly. In the final step, you use the CAD sketch and the MATLAB plots to iterate your design. Check your plots to see what geometry you need to change to get better numbers. As for what numbers you are looking for, there is no hard number, but some general design principles are shown here. The roll center should not move more than 100 millimeters horizontally or 50 millimeters vertically. The wheel scrub should be kept below 5 millimeters, and the outside wheel during cornering should always have a negative camber. In summary, even though suspension design can seem overwhelming to a student that just started learning about it, if you follow these 5 steps, you can have a workable suspension system for your project. So, thank you for watching. I hope you feel like you learned something, and I wish you the best on your design journey.